Alright guys, we are back in my garage for another video, and today we are back at Putnam Park Road Course testing my BMW 340i. We're hoping that we can get this car sub 20. If I can't, I'll probably just get rid of it. I don't know what to do with this thing if I can't get any faster. We were stuck at 120.00 last year, and I know it has at least a 119, so we're gonna push it as hard as we can to see if our latest handling upgrades will allow the car to go any faster. So let's go ahead and try it out. Hopefully you guys enjoy.
All right, so it's time to go ahead and get started for the day. Granted, this session started about an hour ago, so I'm a little bit late. As you can see, there's some guys that are already fast, and we'll let them have some room so they can get by as I kind of get the car warmed up and try to get back into the groove. So let's see how quickly we can get up to speed. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear it over the wind noise, but that was pretty bad. The brakes actually started shuddering and pulsing under my feet, so not sure what's wrong. It feels like it only happens under heavy braking, because if I brake pretty light, it feels okay and pretty smooth. But yeah, coming out of these high-speed straights into really heavy braking zones, it's definitely not feeling good. I'm going to have to bring it back in and see what is going on. So, rough start to the first session, but we'll figure it out and get back out here.
All right, well, we had a pretty interesting morning. So naturally, come here expecting it all to go smoothly, and stuff just started falling apart right off the bat. Went out for my first session, and the brakes felt really bad. When I got, deep into the brakes, it would shake the steering wheel and the whole car would shudder. Normal braking was fine, like driving on and off the trailer, driving around the paddock, even at like lower speeds, brakes were okay. And if I was really sensitive with the brakes, going in really slowly, it seemed okay in most scenarios, but sometimes it was just really bad. So pulled in, checked my lug nuts, make sure everything was torqued down and everything. None of them were really loose. Some were able to get tightened a little bit, but tightened them down, went back out, same issue. So I came back and I just was checking tire pressures and stuff, and kind of decided, you know what? It's stupid to stay on these tires for so long, because those tires were really worn, and I had bought replacements and I brought them with me, and I said, if after the first day or second day, whenever they're completely worn, I'll just get them replaced. But they're so low and I already have the tires, it just didn't make sense to wait. So went ahead. They actually have a guy that comes here and does mobile tire installations at the track, which is pretty amazing. So brought my tires and wheels over to him, and he swapped them out with some brand new Continental Extreme Contact Forces. Now, when he pulled the old tires off, the first thing I saw was like the lip on each of the grooves. It looks like, probably because I ran them backwards at the track last time when I went to NCM, it could have caused that. I'm not sure. I've never seen that before on any other tires, and I'm very used to like rotating my tires and stuff, even if they're directional. It's not really a big deal just to get, some even tire wear. But maybe under heavy braking, or like the way I was driving the car, caused it to like pick up the edges or the lips of those grooves like that. So that was kind of weird. I'd never seen that before. But then I really saw the cause. I flat spotted one of the tires. I feel like I did that last event, but maybe I just never noticed, or I'm not really sure. And when I looked at the tires before I installed them, I never noticed. I'm wondering if maybe I did it out here at some point, but I can't think of a scenario where that would have happened. That shouldn't happen with a car that has ABS. So not really sure, but that's obviously what would cause the shuddering. So got the tires replaced, turned the car back on, and drivetrain malfunction again. This time it showed an issue with the wastegate stop position. So double checked it. I did what I normally do, pull the intake, pull off the heat shield, mounted my camera there, and it seemed like it was moving fine. It found the stop, open and close position. Went ahead and did like the manual test in MG Flasher. Shout out to them. That is super clutch, being able to quickly test your wastegate and see the actual dimensions. Tested it and everything was okay. Cleared the code, started the car. No more issue, no more drivetrain malfunction. So that was funny. So got everything back set up, turned the car back on. Of course, still got to check engine light. And that one was because I forgot to plug in the O2 sensor. So it's just been one of those mornings. Like I said, I thought everything was just going to go smoothly and I'd get, a good 2-3 hours of drive time in, but that wasn't the case. So I'm hoping after getting all of that sorted, the car will be what I'm used to, where I'm comfortable with it and I can really push it and hopefully get that 19. I'm worried because Saturday and Sunday it's supposed to rain at some point. I don't know if it'll be in the morning or the evening, but those days probably won't be a great opportunity to chase a personal best. So really hoping I can get it today. And of course it's just getting hotter and stuff, so not really ideal, but we'll see. We'll keep trying. So let's get back out there and try again.
So I went back out there for another session, and it was still just a disappointment. The car was not doing what I wanted it to do. Lap after lap after lap, I was running a minute 22 with no upside in sight. Even when I was going through traffic, when I had no traffic, it didn't really matter. The car was way off pace. And I knew temps were getting hotter. At this point, it was getting like 85 or 86 degrees. So I knew I wanted to log some IATs just to see how bad it was. And even my oil temps were starting to creep up all around. I was just basically facing the same temperature issues I ran into every single year at this event in June.
Yeah, I'm frustrated. It's just kind of one of those things, man. I'm going to have a philosophical moment, but hear me out. Do you guys know of anybody else that's doing what I do? Like I said, a 20 or 30-minute session in a B58 with an upgraded turbo and not having cooling issues? Because the engine coolant temps are fine, the oil temps are fine. It's just the IATs. And this is with the upgraded intake manifold, the upgraded heat exchanger, and I'm still having issues with temps. And I'm starting to pay attention now. It's like this event last year, I had the same issue and I thought it was like, oh, I had air in the system or something. The year before I was having issues, I thought, oh, I need an upgraded heat exchanger, and I got the bigger intake manifold. And I keep thinking it's like parts that I need to throw at the car, and I'm kind of at the point where I think it's just a limitation of the platform, which sucks, but it is what it is. When you have an air-to-water intercooler, it works great, but ours, I think, is just too small. If you look at the S55, S58, where they set up their intercooler, they have so much more space to put a much bigger core. Like, it looks like an aftermarket core. But where ours is, it works great for what it is, but it just doesn't have the same capacity as those other cars. And even when you put the bigger ones on there, it struggles. And I think that's where people started moving to air-to-air intercoolers. So yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, it's hot, the car is so strong when it's like 50 degrees or even, low 60s outside, but now it's approaching 80. And the more I beat on it, the more it struggles. IATs are hitting like 130, 140. And it's different if you're just doing a single pull. Like I see people pushing these cars, but pretty much all of them, again, just in my line of sight, let me know if I'm missing something, but they're all doing time attack. So what that means is you do one flying lap, you push your car one lap and set a time, and that's it. I don't see a lot of people pushing their cars, posting data, and showing how much faster it is with an upgraded turbo when temps are this hot. So I don't know, maybe some of the super guys, but other 340s, M340s, stuff like that, I just don't see it. So I don't know. I'm going to keep driving the car. Thankfully, it's working. No more drivetrain malfunctions, no more check engine lights. It's just getting slower as I push it. I'm stuck in the 22s. I know that I could go faster, but the harder I push it, just the quicker it heat soaks. So I'm going to let it cool down. We're going to have lunch. I'm going to try to really prioritize doing a warm-up lap where I don't push it, don't get into boost or anything, then try to do 1 or 2 flyers and see how fast I can get the car, how consistent I can be. I mean, it's going to rely on me being a good driver, which isn't the best benchmark because I'm not the most consistent. But, it is what it is, guys. So we'll see. But again, let me know. Are you having cooling issues on your upgraded turbo setup? Are you running into the limit? Like, I feel like if I was slower, it would be no problem, right? But as you get faster and start pushing harder, that's when you hit the limit. And it's like, what do I do? Do I need to put like a big hood vent in the car to get heat out or what? I don't know. We'll see, guys. But stay tuned. We're going to keep driving. We're going to push the whole weekend. And maybe even tomorrow morning, we'll get a good opportunity to see how fast we can get.
So the rest of the day, Friday afternoon, went probably as you can expect. The car did actually get faster, which was nice, but I was still not quite able to get my goal. I ran 21 after 21 after 21 after 21. And then I really felt like I was cooking until that's kind of what put the nail in the coffin for me. I decided just to have fun this weekend and kind of follow through with my original plan. And so we're back. I'm back in my garage because, as usual, I forgot to keep recording and making vlog updates throughout the weekend. I was just focused on driving. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap of Saturday and Sunday. So like I said, I wanted to basically push the car early in the morning when the temps would be coolest and I would have the best opportunity to hit my best time. And I actually worked out perfectly because Saturday morning I had my fastest lap. So here it is. And yeah, spoiler alert, still didn't get my 19 this weekend. So is what it is. I was able to run a 20.2, which was still better than my stock turbo times. If you guys remember, whatever it was 2 or 3 years ago, the best time that I ever ran was a 20.5, I believe. So now I'm able to run low 20s, but still not better than the 20.0 I ran last year. And I think this just kind of reinforces my point that I am effectively at the limit of the car, at least of my setup. I guess I should put it that way. There are a lot of things that were frustrating throughout the weekend. The heat was a big one, even with the Bimmer network intake manifold, even with the CSF heat exchanger. I was still seeing IATs over 135 degrees. Granted, temperatures outside were over 90 degrees. So no matter what, when it's hot outside, the IATs are going to be hotter. But it's just frustrating because this is kind of, you know, peak driving time when everything's warm and it's summer and you've got time off work and stuff. So I want to be able to take advantage of this. But the car just is not as fast as it was when I went to the track back in March when temps were 40 or 50 degrees. So it's just kind of unfortunate. I'm hoping that I can take advantage of it the next time I go to Putnam, which we will be back in September. So make sure you check that out if you guys are interested in running with us. But sometimes during the fall, you know, temps get a little cooler in the mornings and we have better opportunities to hit personal bests. So it is what it is, but I think this just, again, reinforces my point that the car needs a lot more to be faster with the upgraded turbo. Like I mentioned previously, I specifically run low boost on the track just to minimize the chance of this issue happening. But even at just 19 or 20 PSI, I'm running into these temperature issues when temps get hotter in the summer. And it's just frustrating to deal with. So it's a limitation of the car, I think, especially like I said, compared to S55 and S58 cars that come with bigger intercooler from the factory. The B58 just doesn't have the space.
to run an adequate core to keep temps a lot lower. I am also going to address the fuel starvation once and for all. The RK Tunes low pressure fuel pump absolutely helped. It works great on track. It works great with E85. But when I get to like a half tank, I still run into those fuel cut issues. And I want to be able to run it down because, of course, on my stock turbo, that's when I was able to run my best time. I got it down to a quarter of a tank, so weights were as low as possible and all the other things that can help benefit you. I just wasn't able to take advantage of it with the upgraded turbo. I think there was one point where I even ran into fuel cut at like a quarter tank, which is just kind of the nature of the beast. As you get faster, you hit these limitations quicker, and it's always coming out of that big right-hand sweeper. I'm sitting in a right-hand turn for like 15 seconds. I'm doing it at 65 to 75 miles an hour, just holding it. And then as soon as I go down the front straight and shift the gear, that's when I run into fuel cut. It's the same thing every single time. So we're going to fix that once and for all. I've already ordered the solution, so I'll be posting a DIY when I do that. So when I go back in September, that absolutely will not be an issue. And like I've alluded to in the past, we've got a couple other suspension upgrades that we're going to do to the car just to kind of complete the setup. Also, we are going to do some weight reduction just so I don't have to think about that either. And we're going to kind of just send it one last time later this year. So that'll be the peak setup, in my opinion, for a 340i. You know, it doesn't have absolutely everything, but I think it'll be a perfect setup for a street car that just needs a couple little changes for the track that should allow you to enjoy it and probably be a lot faster than other people might expect. Honestly, I think the most fun I had this weekend was driving with my student, and that was something I haven't actually done in the past. I've done probably 8 or 9 track days now as a PCA instructor, but this was the first time I had somebody ask to ride with me just to see my line and feel what the car can do. Granted, his car was much faster and more capable than mine. He had a G87 M2, 6-speed manual, probably making 700 wheel horsepower. He had an upgraded clutch with port injection, and it was running E85. I actually didn't know that until after the fact, and I realized how fast we were going. And even he was able to run a faster time than me, but you know, an extra 300 horsepower and better brakes and better driving dynamics probably helped with that a little bit. But it was cool to push somebody to be faster than me and bring them in the car to show them, you know, kind of how to drive and what the opportunity is in the car when you get comfortable with it. That's something that I truly do enjoy. So again, if you guys are interested in coming out on track, feeling the car, I will be at a couple more events this year. I'm going to be with the Ohio Buckeye BMW CCA at Mid-Ohio in August, and then I'll be back with the Kentucky PCA at Putnam again in September. I will be instructing at both of those events, so come out, get some seat time, see what your car can actually do, and definitely just come out, even if you don't want to drive, just to see what it's like, feel it out. Most of them have free spectating, so if you're in the area, you can stop by for a couple hours or during lunch or whatever and just see what it's like to be on track. I highly recommend everybody that cares about handling and how their car actually drives, at least do one track day to get your driver skills up, see what your car can actually do and what the limitations are, and help you get a better idea of how to build your platform. Because the stuff that I'm finding out right now, I absolutely would never be able to see on the street. And that's really the benefit of pushing your car on track so you can see what it's truly capable of. But yeah, overall, weekend was a pretty good success. I think I did the same thing on Sunday as well. Same thing. First session in the morning when it was coolest, I ran a 20.3, so almost as good as my 20.2 on Saturday. Thankfully, it didn't rain at all that weekend. We were expecting rain, but the only rain I saw was when I was about 30 minutes away from home on Sunday night. So nice, clear weekend, great time on track with the Kentucky PCA, a lot of great people, great food, great vibes, and I can't wait to go back in September and redeem myself, because no, I'm not selling it yet. I'm going to find a way to hit my 19. So stay tuned for more. Let me know if you guys have any questions or thoughts on my setup or my driving. Even if I don't ask for that, I know somebody's going to tell me what I'm doing wrong. So leave a comment and let me know what's going on. But otherwise, that's it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you do have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.